And therefore, we need to identify ourselves as expected by the institute. And therefore, like any other activity, like any other project, so to say, you need to identify the objectives. Between January and May, what is it that you'd want to achieve? Is it that you'd want to achieve? I know to many consultants, okay, first of all, this level, I address you as consultants because you are on the path to becoming such, and I wouldn't be out of context if I address you as consultants in the making. That's why when they are setting this paper, they assign you that title, taking the position of a consultant. So they know that between this level and when you complete, there's no any other training. So they attach you that title, and therefore by identifying you as such. And what does this mean then? We need to have a mindset change. Mindset change. From the traditional student mindset to now a consultancy mindset. And this is very, very important. You need to note this. The game changer is the mindset change from the traditional student mentality to the consultancy mentality. Because you are expected to provide professional expertise. At this level, we do not answer academic questions, but rather we provide professional advice. And you can't provide professional advice if you are not one. Therefore, we need to have mindset change from the student mentality to the consultancy mindset. Because this paper, it tests for professional expertise. So, in terms of objectives, what is it that we want to achieve between now and May? Of course, the common response is to complete the course. Each one you are trying as much as you can to make sure you complete the course. But I want to put a disclaimer on that I want you also not only to complete the course, but rather to have the conviction to excel in your career. Don't just complete the course. Have this conviction to excel in the accountancy profession. Have the conviction to excel in your career. Don't just finish and you step out. No. Be convicted to go out and make a difference. Okay? So don't just say, for me, I want to complete the course. No. Yes, complete the course, get your marks, but be intentional to go out and excel in your career. Because the demands out there, they keep varying and they keep getting complex. the needs of the clients, they get complex by the day. So if you're not ready to take up and to be, to adjust to the needs of the clients, then completing the course does not mean anything. So that's why I'm saying complete the course, but go out and try to excel in this profession, in this career. So objective 1, yes, complete the course. 2, to enhance on your technical competence. You must be intentional. You must be out and ready to enhance on your professional competencies. So by the time we finish these 4 months, make sure you have added something in terms of your professional competence. Number 3, and most important, is to widen your professional networks. We get to this level. When we get to this level, we are indeed identified as consultants in the making, and it's very important that you widen your networks, because that's how you get assignments, that's how you get jobs, that's how you get fixed. You need to have somebody somewhere who will say, yeah, there's an opening here, and you give you a phone call. So let us do that. Now, if you are to realize these objectives that we have talked about, you must understand that we operate in an environment. We operate in an environment characterized by many actors. And your ability to manage those actors will influence your capability to complete the course, to realize the above objectives. You need to have understanding of the underlying stakeholders, because these stakeholders, they have a role to play if you are to realize these objectives. And the common stakeholders we have ICPA is a key stakeholder. So you must understand how you're going to deal with ICPA. Number 1, you have to register, and register in time. Because if you don't register, then you don't sit exams. Number 2, you must attend the exams they set. If you don't attend the exams, you don't qualify. Number 3, ICPA, you must know that they will mark, they will qualify or disqualify you, and eventually when you complete, they are responsible for graduating. So you will not be a professional accountant. You will not complete the course until you have known the role played by ICPA. Okay? Number 2, another stakeholder is the tuition provider. Tuition provider. You are here because you need to interact with the tuition provider. Okay? The tuition provider will make sure they organize content, they will disseminate content, they will evaluate you in terms of mocks. They'll make sure they prepare you. They make sure they prepare you. So you need to have a tuition provider. You are going to have an added skill, you're going to have an added competence. And then another important stakeholder is yourself. Yourself, the consultant in the making. What do you need to do? What do you need to do? First of all, you need to attend these sessions. Attend sessions, online, physical, attend. Listen to the lecturer. Listen to the facilitator. That's number 1. Number 2, if you have been provided with content, read through it. Read through it. Get prepared for the session.
because this content is shared before the session. And the essence is that you go through it, so that when you interact with the tutor, when you interact with the facilitator, and you have already gone through the handout, you have a better understanding of that content. Okay? So as a practice, content will be shared prior to the actual session, so that you go through it and you make notes. Try and make notes in that handout. How do you understand this? How do you understand this? It makes a very, very big difference. And as a student or consultant in the making, you need to register. While ICPA is ready to register you, you need to make an initiative to register. Then number 4, you need to pay tuition. Yeah, so the tuition provider, you need to pay tuition. Okay? But all in all, you need to work hard. You need to work hard. This, like many other ICPA papers, they give you the learning outcomes and they give you the syllabus. What does that mean? When they give you learning outcomes and they give you the syllabus, it means that you may not necessarily rely on the facilitator. Huh? You have an opportunity to read on your own and say, the syllabus is like this, and this is the learning outcome. Then you should be able to, because remember, in June, you'll be seated somewhere, and your boss will assign you something. So that's why I'm telling you that at this level, you are simply consultants in the making. You are stepping out into the consultants, and the bosses will be assigning you. Say, can you go this client and find out his challenge? Yes, that's what it is. That's what makes this paper very unique. It is practical. You are simply aligning yourself to what happens out in the market. You are not reading for academic purposes. This paper does not provide space for academic reading. No. Internalize, application. How do I apply this to solve a problem? Remember, I have told you that this paper has 2 important variables: advice seeker and advice provider. Advice seeker is the client out there. Advice provider is yourself. But do you have the competence to provide that advice? And that's what we are trying to address between January and May. That you develop the competence to go out and provide advice. Okay? So in terms of stakeholders, we have said the ICPAU, we've said the facilitator, said the consultant in the making, and another stakeholder group is other stakeholders, which include employers, family. For some of you, your employers pay your school fees, your tuition. So they become an important stakeholder. Yeah. And they have expectations. They say we are going to pay tuition for 1 sitting, you know what that means. That's when you say this one, it's a do or die. It's a do or die. Some, they have promotions online. They say we are holding this, we have held it enough. You only have this sitting. So your employer becomes a very key stakeholder. Sometimes when you are faced with that pressure, sometimes can be straining. So you need to understand the environment in which you are
preparing yourself. That's why you need to understand to do a stakeholder analysis, stakeholder mapping. Some of us, you have families, they will be asking, so, Daddy, when are you completing the course? Your wife will be asking, when are you completing the course? All that, they constitute the environment in which you operate. And therefore, you must align your mindset with that environment as you figure out how to achieve our objectives. Okay? So, given that, then what strategies are we going to apply then? What strategies are we going to apply so that we may realize we've carried out a stakeholder understanding? What unique strategies are we going to have? Okay? In addition to what I highlighted in terms of what is expected of you as a key stakeholder, one, you need to work very hard. You need to work very hard. You need to work very hard. Number two, endeavor to read ahead of the tutor. Endeavor to read ahead of the tutor. Because this will help you eventually when you interact, then you have a better understanding. Number three, attend sessions. Attend sessions, for heaven's sake. There is a lot that we talk than what we actually put in the handouts. We do a lot of talking. And some of you, let me tell you, some of you, maybe you've not understood your competence. Some of you may find you understand better when you listen to the tutor than when you read the content. I had my daughter, and I was lucky I identified that early enough when she was in senior 3 Nabsunsa. I could see Nabsunsa, their method of teaching, they would give you handouts, then students read on their own. And for me, my daughter was not that kind. My daughter wanted a teacher to talk, and for her, she would pick from there. So when I realized that, I changed her from Nabsunsa to Chitende, because Chitende, I knew the late teachers, they stand in front, they teach her. And she got very great grades. I took her in senior 3. She performed very well in senior 4. She stayed there in HSC. She got serious A's in math, in physics, because I got to know that she picks when somebody is talking. So you never know. When you attend, you never know. You could be having that characteristic and you haven't. So attend sessions. Then we shall have mock. Try and attend a mock. There's a student who said, for me, I'm ready to die once. And indeed, he died once. Died once. He did not make it. And then finally, you attend case analysis. This is what we call case analysis. And this is on the eve of the exam. What we call case analysis. I'll explain what it is. Yeah. Okay. Learning outcomes. Learning outcomes as highlighted by ICPA. Learning outcomes. You see, for every level, every paper, ICPA will set what they call the learning outcomes. As a student, what must you be equipped with by the time you leave that level? So even paper 18 has 5 learning outcomes. And usually when they are setting the questions,
They are based on the learning outcomes. They want to find out, did you actually grasp what this module is intended for? Did you pick? We have paper 18, if I can call it a module. We have the specific learning outcomes. Do you actually pick them? Yeah. So learning outcome number 1 is develop integrated professional solutions to entity problems. Develop integrated professional solutions to entity problems. Remember, this resonates with what I already said. When we talk about paper 18, we are talking about advice seeker and advice provider. So that's why outcome number 1 is develop integrated professional solutions. So that speaks into advice. Provide solutions, provision of solutions. So as we pursue this level, are you ready to be advice provider, or you are going to be part of the problem? It is very possible that in an attempt to provide the solution, you actually complicate the matters. So you become a serious problem to the client. Okay? So make sure you're ready to be an advisor, provide solution. Don't be part of the problem. Outcome number 2, exercise skills in judgment and analysis of complex issues. Exercise skills in judgment and analysis of complex issues. Exercise skills in judgment and analysis of complex issues. Outcome number 3, advise on corporate governance, risk control, and ethical issues. Advise on corporate governance, risk control, and ethical issues. Number 4, evaluate current and emerging issues affecting entities. Evaluate current and emerging issues affecting entities and the accounting profession. And number 5, apply knowledge and skills acquired to communicate business solutions. Apply knowledge and skills acquired to communicate business solutions to a wide range of users. So, these are the learning outcomes that come May, the examiner, when they are setting their questions, will be inclined on these learning outcomes. That's what they are trying to test. For example, number 1 is about provision of professional solutions. Number 2 has something to do with the analysis of complex issues. Analysis of complex issues. If you visit a client with complex issues, are you able to listen and analyze and come out with a solution? That's what they are trying to find out from you. You have those analytical skills to be able to provide answers to complex issues faced by the client. Then corporate governance. Corporate governance has become the in thing. Virtually every paper is something to do with corporate governance.
So that one, and risk management, risk control. We can't run from it. Then emerging issues. But finally, number 5 is about communication. Communication. Ability to communicate business solutions. Do you know you can work out something, but in a bid to communicate it to the client, you end up miscommunicating? And tell me what happens in practice when a client gives you an assignment and you don't do it properly, and you have prepared a report and given it to the client. What is the likelihood of? What is usually the reaction? What is the possible reaction from the client? He questions your competence. And you know, we have obligations. We have obligations. You have been contracted. Maybe he has even your money.
The client may ask you to redo it.
You can be asked to redo the assignment, having written in many, many things. And that is very bad. He can hold on your payment. So many things. So that is poor communication. It's not that you don't have the content, but I'm just picking it from poor communication. And remember, this paper, when they are marking it, the examiner on the other side puts on the shoes of a client and he's posed with this question: would you pay for this report? That is the mindset. Would you pay for this report? And it ranges from definitely yes, absolutely, come down to definitely no. So the examiner has a range, above 80, above 70. So for them, because the examiner and you, it has nothing to do with the payment, but what they do, they defy you. They defy you. They defy your completion. They refer you back to the to the tutors. So that's another way of saying, we can't give you back your report, but you go and revise a few things. Go and revise a few things. Okay. So we need to understand the learning outcomes, because that's where the questions will be coming from. Okay. Then the skills that and the competence that are tested at this level. Very quickly, we have what we call technical competence. At this level, the examiner is interested in understanding and the conviction that you are technically competent. So technical competence is one of the skills. And this one, it is assumed you have attained this between paper 1 and paper 17. Between paper 1 and paper 17, you have attained the necessary technical skills. You can evaluate the project. You can do risk analysis and advice. You can determine, the internal rate of return of a project, all that. So number 1, technical competence will be tested. Then application of technical knowledge. Application of technical knowledge. At this level, we don't only deal with technical competence, but application. Application. And number 3, analytical skills. analytical skills, that you'll be able to listen to the client, understand his problem, and come up with a solution. That is analytical skills. Then we have what we call judgment. Judgment. That you need to demonstrate judgment in areas that require balanced outlook. You need to demonstrate judgment in areas that require balanced outlook. What does this mean? That you've gone through the case and later on you are asked a question in terms of how that area can be enhanced. So you're saying, if in the case you come across the positives, talk about them as well. Talk about the positives, and then you talk about how to enhance. Then computer skills. Yeah. Computer skills. And then finally, integration. Integration. So those are the skills that will be examined. So, and finally, communication. Communication. Communication skills. So in terms of syllabus content, I'll just give you the headings, but later on, we shall be going through the subheadings. So syllabus content is accountancy and business. Accountancy and business. So in here, there's a business strategy, financial planning and management, marketing, audit and assurance services, information, communication and technology, performance management, and tax and planning. Quite a number. The number 2 syllabus item is the governance, risk, and ethics. Governance, risk, and ethics. Governance, risk, and ethics. In here, we have human resource management, governance, legal and regulatory framework, risk assessment and management, and then professional and business ethics. Then syllabus item number 3, current and emerging issues. Current and emerging issues. Here we shall cover what we call integrated thinking and reporting, economic integration and globalization, blockchain technologies, sustainability reporting, and other emerging issues. The matter of concern, ESG has become a key thing. I don't know if you have come across it. Then finally, syllabus item number 4 is professional skills. Professional skills. Communication, presentation, analysis, judgment, and decision making. Judgment and decision making. Yeah. Okay. Examination framework. Examination framework. Bullet 1, you can say this is a computer-based assessment. The PA 18 exam is a computer-based assessment. Computer-based assessment. . Bullet 2. The student is provided with a case material. The student is provided with case material 24 hours before the exam. The student is provided with case material 24 hours before the exam. Bullet 3. On the examination day, the student is provided with a computer. Student is provided with a computer. Additional information and the questions. In the bracket, questions, technically we call them terms of reference. Technically, the questions that we get from the client are called terms of reference. So, during the case analysis, now, on the eve of the exam, on the eve of the exam, you are expected to read and capture all the important events. You're expected to read, analyze, and capture all the important events. Now, in real sense, by giving you that case, ICPA is sending you to the client. In real sense, by giving you that case, ICPA is sending you to the client. Go and visit the client, listen what he has to say, using the skills that we have talked about, analytical skills, judgment, focus, pick out the key events from the client's story. Basically that. So in the 24 hours that you have this case, you are expected to read, analyze, and understand, and pick out the key events. Because the skill that will be examined the following day is, did you read and understand the case? Did you read and understand the case? Because if you visit the client, now tell me this, if you visit the client and you misunderstand his problem, what are the likely consequences? You misunderstand his problem.
You won't give appropriate solutions.
Exactly. You can't give appropriate solution if you don't understand the class problem. And that is the focus. The focus of ICPA in giving you this case early, prior. They want to find out, did you read and understand the case? Now, in practice, when you visit a client, did you listen and understand the client's problem? Usually, when you come back from the client, if you're a junior team, if you're a junior member, your boss will ask you, so tell me, how did it go? So what do you think his problem is? Very important. So what do you think his problem is? Because he wants to understand such that you can provide appropriate solution. So by going through the case, applying analytical skills, we are trying to understand. So that is now on the eve of the exam. Now, good enough, we shall be around to take you through the case and try to highlight the key events and then enable you to prepare yourselves for the exam. Then the following day, like we have said, you'll bring the questions. And you'll be able to respond. You'll be able to respond. So that is the examination framework. The examination framework is that you are provided with a case 24 hours before. Then the following day, you go and answer the questions. The method of summarizing the case, so we shall handle them in the introductory session. In terms of the other aspect, a critical aspect that is examined is communication. Ability to communicate is another important skill that is tested at this level. Ability to communicate. We say communication is effective when the author and the reader attach a common understanding to that given paragraph. Communication is effective when the author and the reader attach common understanding to a given issue or to that paragraph. So it's very important that when you are asked a question, you try to figure out what exactly does the client need here. Don't write what you want. Try to write what the client expects. Many times you end up writing to yourself. You end up communicating to yourself. Yeah? And then communication has failed. Communication has failed. So try and understand the needs, the requirements of the client, and then because that's how you will earn the marks. Okay. So the structure of the sessions will be in such a way that we shall have online sessions. On Tuesdays, I think at 6. Is that the timetable that has been shared? Tuesdays? But for now, I think that's what it's going to be. Tuesday at 6, we shall have online sessions. And then we shall have one physical session at the end of every month. One weekend at the end of the month. We shall have one physical session. At the end of every month, the last weekend, shall have physical session, such that we do a recap of what we shall have covered during the week, during the month. Okay. Mode of delivery. Mode of delivery. Mode of delivery. We shall use handouts. Shall use handouts. We shall have online engagements. Online engagements. We shall have face-to-face, like I've said, once every month. And you also be provided with the recordings. Will be provided with your recordings. So like I said, when the examiner is looking at your script, the test of the evaluation is, would you pay for this report? Would you pay for this report? He puts on the shoes of the client. And like I said, his response ranges from, you can say absolutely. That means above 80. If you have above 80, he will say absolutely. If you have above 70, you say I would pay. If you have above 60, I think so. Above 50, maybe. Below 50 and 40, not really. Then below 40, definitely not. This paper is easy to pass as it is easy to fail. It's easy to pass as it is easy to fail. And many times you'll come out of the exam thinking that you have passed. That's when you come out and say, but I answered the questions. But did you answer them in a manner expected by the examiner? That becomes very key. Did you only present academic content, or you presented it in an advisory manner? Remember, that aspect of advisory must find space in your mind. Let it reside there. Advisory. Because in every response, that's what the examiner is looking out. That's what the examiner is looking out. Is this response advisory in nature? Or you are simply presenting academic content? Please get to know, at this level, we are not presenting academic content, but rather we are focusing on application. 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 If you work out NPV and when you are reporting, you say, I computed and the project has a positive NPV of this, therefore you go ahead and implement. That is not this level. That is now academic. The client does not know what it means by NPV in the first case. So you need to go ahead and say, by implementing this project, the value of the business will increase by this amount. So you are trying to explain what it means by positive NPV. That is the value that will be added. The business will grow by that amount by the end of the 5 years. The project is a 5-year project. So that is application. That is an application. So once again, move away from the student mentality and you put on the shoes for professional consultants. Because this paper is meant for consultants in the making. The examiner will never ask you taking the position of a student. The examiner will say taking the position of a technical advisor. Technical advisor means you have the professional expertise. Okay? So you need to be aware of that. Okay. So once again, much as we are struggling and working very hard that you complete the course, don't complete the course for the sake. Make sure this session for the next 4 months, you have equipped yourselves. Make sure you have acquired the necessary skills that you will use to excel in your career. Try and learn something. Try and learn something. Try and learn something. Because the outer world is evolving. The outer world is evolving. Clients now want problem solvers. Problem solvers. You go for interviews, and you know what they will ask you? They will not go into, you say, tell us, what problem solving abilities do you come with? That's now a common question. That's a common question when you go for an interview. Because the client, the employer wants somebody who's going to add value. So what do you come with? What do you come with? That's why I'm telling you, as you pursue this, add on whatever skills you can come across. You never know. It can give you leverage. For you to go for an interview and you say, yeah, much as I'm a CPA, I'm doing this and this, but in terms of computing, troubleshooting and all this, I'm sure I can be very handy. You know, you can sort out some problems yourself. Other than a small thing on the computer, then you need a computer expert. Right. So that's what now many clients are looking at, multitasking. So let us make sure that by the time we complete this level, we are different. We have added on. So we shall share a handout. But like I've said, if you have the learning outcomes and you have the syllabus, get into the ability, get into the habit of reading, check something. And good enough now, we have a lot of content flying around, a lot of content. But just get guided. You just get guided here. You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. You have the syllabus and you have the learning outcomes. Those two should be able to help us to excel. So once again, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Jack, CPA. I have handled this paper for quite some time, about 17 years. So competence is there. Competence is there. Let's work together. Let's move this journey together. The commitment is there. The biblical Joshua, you remember when Joshua called upon others and they were not responding, said, as for me and my family, we shall serve the Lord. So as for me and as far as 18 is concerned, I am all ready to offer whatever it takes so that you guys can complete the course. And also you go out and enjoy. Enjoy. This is a noble profession. Accountancy is a noble profession. You position yourself well, you'll get the benefits associated with this profession. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Unless you have any question. Yeah. Hoping that we shall take off. Move on well. So have a blessed time.